Good afternoon, everybody. This is for all the musical Fidelity E1 fans out there, and a little bit of a progress update for you. And no, it's not done yet. We're still trying. So I used to be a computer programmer, and this was at the time when a comedian called Jasper Carrott used to say that computer programmers were very uncool by saying, "Hey, I'm a computer programmer." So if anybody remembers that, I was a computer programmer in the day, and that's what I used to have to say when I was in the pub. Point of the story is that when I was learning to be a computer programmer, we used to print out our code in lines. And when debugging a piece of code, I was told, if you ever look at a piece of code and point a finger at it, and somebody says, "That's what you say, that's where my error is," he always said to me, "Have a look where your thumb's pointing, because that's almost certainly where the problem is." So here we are after several weeks, and to be fair, large interruptions in between, still working on this amplifier. And when I talked to you last time, what I mentioned was that we had a problem with the offset, the DC offset on these terminals on the left-hand channel was over 200 millivolts, which is clearly no good, but only 19 millivolts on the right channel. So of course that kind of indicates that there is an issue somewhere in the left channel of the power amplifier. Quite difficult to find. Nothing seemed to be particularly off in terms of issues. However, it was notable that two particular resistors in the center here were measuring what their rated value was, which in its own right seemed like a good thing. But the two resistors on this side were measuring as though there was a third resistor in parallel, which was bringing them down, which kind of indicated to me that they probably should be something in circuit here to bring these down as well, because obviously the right channel was apparently okay. But beware of false signs. So I've done an extensive amount of testing to have a little look, and also created, you may remember I was going to create a schematic. So there is no schematic for this. So this is my schematic diagram of the amplifier, the power amp section anyway, on one side. And through a fair bit of tracing, I think I may have come up with potentially two problems with the amp. And as you can see, I've been doing some extensive testing of the transistors because I've taken them all out again. So my theory was that the transistors, which have a resistance when you measure them, potentially were in circuit, and there was a short all the way around. And that was there was a reason why those transistors weren't in circuit, and that's why these weren't dropping as they should. However, I'm revising that theory now because, having carried on testing, I've discovered, and I'll point, this is where I thought the problem was because of the burn and all that sort of stuff. But if you look where my thumb is pointing, actually, literally exactly where my thumb is pointing is a diode. And the diode that links D3 and D4 here was actually not on the original machine and has obviously been fastened on by somebody else. Now, if you remember, both channels on this were blown, and I've identified blown transistors here, but I couldn't identify what was wrong with this side. And actually, this diode, it's a Zener 3.3 volt, is actually measuring faulty. And so what's happening is this diode is creating a short between these two resistors, which is why the values of them have dropped, because there's also a resistor in series with this, and it's in the circuit. So it's actually drawn on my diagram here as to where it goes. So actually R113 is in series with R11 and R12. So that's why my resistors have dropped. I've ordered some new 1/2 watt versions of 3V3. I haven't got a 3V3 Zener, so I've ordered some parts for that. I'm also going to change these other diodes here and this one for new 1/2 watt versions of the whole lot. So if that means that these resistors are okay, it means that the offset problem is something else. And my theory at the moment is, given that there is no way of adjusting the offset, they're relying on having a matched pair of output transistors to keep the offset correct. Now I've got a box of these, so I'm going to remove these two, and I'm going to find a pair of, they actually are listed as MF152Ns, which are nothing of the sort. They're TIP35Cs, as it happens, from ST Microsystems. So I'm going to have a look in my box and see if I can get two which have got exactly the same, or as near as damn it the same, voltage drops and resistance measurements across the base collector and base emitter. And then I'm going to fit them in, and then I'm going to rebuild the amplifier again, and then retest it. So there we go. It's been a bit of a saga, a bit of a breakthrough last night. Found a component that was broken. It would explain why this channel was also broken. So both sides were broken when I got it. And I have been changing various components, obviously, as you know. But I actually think that this, fingers crossed, might be the thing that I was looking for. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the update. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.